Do you trust your kicker?
Right.
That's another thing we have to talk about in this.
This is VSiN Final Countdown with Stormy Buonantony and Matt Brown on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, let's talk Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers. Matt, this is a game that we thought, maybe hoped, was going to go down to a flat 3. 49ers favored in this one. Instead, it is ticked up from the 3.5 to a different direction. 4-point favorites hosting Dallas, and that Cowboys offense certainly was clicking against the Bucs in the wild card round, but how do you think they fare against the best defense in the National Football League?
Yeah, I mean, as we record this on Friday afternoon Pacific, there's 3.5 that's left out there. It's juiced. It's moved to 4 everywhere rest of country. We're sitting 46.5 on the total in this one. If we take a look, I mean, for me, this was one of the first bets I got into the account. I know it was for you as well, was to go ahead and put that 3.5 in the account on the 49ers. We were thinking maybe this would tick back to that 3. You said on air, I'll put more on it. I would have done the same thing. We're not going to get that luxury, it doesn't look like. So let's go in and say if it's 4 by the time you're watching this, then I would still play the 4. I mean, I'd still play the 4. I understand it. There's not a whole bunch of difference in in my 3.5 and your 4, other than there's some, more likelihood of a push or something like that for you, but it's still the same. They still have to win by the same, margin here. And I do like this 49er squad pretty good in this one. We take a look. Their defense is so incredibly stout. And talk about the Cowboys defense and how good they look. That being said, this 49ers defense has done it every week all season long. This Cowboys team has been up and down. And for a while there, this Cowboys team was a dead over team because the defense actually would not show up in games and there would be tons of points scored against them, right? And so if you take a look here on the season, nearly 20 points per game against them and going up against a 49ers defense that is basically first across the board in every single advanced metric that you and I like to talk about here when we're previewing a game. I think that is going to really play a factor in this, and I think that they're just not going to put very many points on the board, and people are going to point to Brock Purdy, your boy Brock Purdy,
solid
and say,
as a Brock.
They're going to point to your boy, and they're going to say, we're ready this is it, right? At some point, the success has to end. But you say to that, you say, no, I don't think so.
I don't think so. He's got so many weapons around him. He has been consistently delivering on a week in, week out basis. This win streak didn't just happen by itself. They are on an 11-game win streak coming into this one, 6 of them with him at the helm as the starter, and he has looked in control. Even in games where he has had to come from behind against the Raiders, he was able to deliver. Last week against the Seattle Seahawks, had a down first half. Maybe that was the moment where we finally saw some, chinks in the armor, but then in the second half came alive. I think even the over 1.5 touchdown prop is good for Brock Purdy because he has done that in 7 straight games since he's come in to this role for the San Francisco 49ers. Another alternate angle that I looked at with this San Francisco game, because I am so confident that they're going to win and they're going to win at a little bit of margin here, was an alt spread at -5.5, a little bit above even money, plus 105, because over this 11-game win streak, all but one of those wins have been by 6 or more points. The only real close game they had was that overtime matchup against Vegas. And since then, they've been, that average margin of victory over this lengthy win streak is over 16 points, their margin of victory in these games. And so their defense is playing so stout. They're taking on Dak Prescott, who has been an interception machine. And I know he got out of this game against the Bucs unscathed, but he threw 11 picks in 7 games before that one. And this is a 49ers team that is in those top 3 in takeaways and in interceptions. I would be scared of Gibson. I would be scared of Talanoa Hufanga if I'm sitting in Dak Prescott's shoes right now. And if this is a close game, do you trust your kicker?
Right.
That's another thing we have to talk about in this one, with Brett Maher having a historically tough performance in the wild card round, missing 4 extra points. That's something that has never been done since they started keeping records in the NFL in 1932. It's crazy.
It is. I'm on Christian McCaffrey over receiving yards. It's about 36.5 right now when we're recording this, and this is one of those deals where I believe there's multiple ways that this gets home. One of which being just Christian McCaffrey being Christian McCaffrey, and he's just a part of the offense, and everything is just kind of smoothly rolling along, and he gets over this number. I think there's also a real path to him getting there if Dallas defense pressure continues to kind of do what they did last week, and they're really back there kind of disturbing Brock Purdy a little bit. I think that Shanahan and them are going to call up more shorter passes, closer, high percentage throws, stuff closer to the line of scrimmage, screens, all these different things. So I think that McCaffrey gets even a bigger role if the Cowboys' pressure actually starts to get to Brock Purdy, which kind of leads me to the last prop that I do like in this one as well, which is Brock Purdy over 6.5 rushing yards. The guy's more athletic than you think. He hadn't had to do it so far this year, but the guy is more athletic than you think. And if this pressure does actually affect him at all, we know he can pull it down and take off. And all he needs one time is to look over his shoulder and see that, oh my gosh, here comes Micah Parsons, tuck the ball and take off around the corner, and we could get that prop home as well. So I do like, I mean, listen, I know we seem like we're just one-way traffic here on this one with it being all 49ers, but I really do like the 49ers in this thing. I think that this team is just the better team here.
If you like what you heard here today, make sure you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. And of course, check out VSiN.com. Become a subscriber today at VSiN.com/subscribe.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.